Hello everyone, let's look at this wonderful game played by Mikhail Tal, popularly known as the magician from Riga. This is a Roy Lopez opening and it was played in the year 1961 against Averbach. So here, this is still standard opening theory. You may be wondering why didn't black capture the e-pawn? But obviously, you can't capture this pawn and maintain it. For example, moves like rook e1, even though d4 is stronger, but let me just show you, for example, what could happen after rook d1, attacking the knight. If the knight goes away, then we capture the pawn immediately. And if you decide to defend, there's still this move, and after takes d3, the knight goes away, and then we capture. So you see, you can't capture the pawn and hold it. So there's no point going for that line. So this is all standard theory. Now white has defended the pawn, so black has to be careful here. White is actually threatening to take the knight. Bishop takes c6, and then knight takes the e-pawn. So black will normally play b5, and after the bishop moves, castle, or d6 rather, and then c3 to make a space for the bishop to move to c2 in case of knight a5. And after knight a5, white moves the bishop. It's good to protect your bishop, or rather maintain your bishop, so that white has that option of the bishop pair. And you see that bishop on c2 is always very effective in open positions like this, where it can put pressure on the h7 pawn. So now black plays c5, trying to hold the d5 square, but Tal nevertheless still plays d4. Now d4 is actually a very interesting move. It frees the bishop. You can see this bishop on c1 now is going to come into the game, and then also white is also challenging the center and is also threatening the pawn on e5. So that move is doing so many things. Now Averbach playing black plays queen c7, defending the pawn. So here the engine gave d5 as a move to play, but instead of d5, Tal developed his knight. He's planning to route the knight to f1, to e3, and to join the game. So it's interesting to see how the knight came into the game with tempo. Even though right now white seems to be clustered, but just watch how Tal unravels his pieces and brings them to attack. Again, after knight c6, the engine recommended d5, but Tal exchanged, and after the pawn exchange, now continued with his plan of knight e3. Notice black has, well, can I say the pawns on e5 and c5 are not really, can I say, could be subject of attacks, because they are not being defended by another pawn. So there's a lot of piece play around these things, as you'll see during the game. So here the game continues developing. I'm not sure g6 was the ideal move. Probably c4 was better for black to play at this point. c4, but then after g6 kind of creates weaknesses along the dark squares. So you need your bishop. The black bishop has to try to go to g7. So Tal continues his plan of knight e3, and then knight g5. So this knight move is just a provoking move. I guess I would say he wants to provoke the move h6, and the knight is also eyeing the f7 square. So Averbach goes back with the bishop, and then now Tal plays queen f3 with tempo. Notice, attacking the knight. So here black should have played bishop g7, but instead played bishop e7. And then Tal played a very beautiful attacking move, knight d5. The knight cannot capture the knight because of checkmate. Check, and then mate in the next move. So because of that sequence, black is forced to move the queen, and the queen has to go to d6 to defend both the bishop and the knight. So Tal continues with developing his last minor piece. So now the rooks are connected. You can see how white has completed his development and getting ready to attack. So black now plays h6, attacking the knight. And notice the knight has nowhere to go. So what is about to unfold, you will see that Tal had analyzed everything up till this point. I mean, from here, when he played queen f3, that just was amazing. After queen f3 and this defense, the white knight cannot go anywhere, isn't it? The white knight can't really go anywhere, it's trapped. But Tal continues with tempo, and after the queen moves, he tempo, ignoring that the knight cannot go anywhere, right? And after h6, that knight is gone. But what does Tal do? He captures, knight takes knight. And he has seen that black cannot capture with the queen, because after queen takes, bishop takes, and this knight going back, the two pawns on c5 and h6 cannot be defended at the same time. So black is going to lose a pawn. Now, in the light of that variation, what if black plays bishop f6, which is what was played during the game? So after bishop f6, Tal played rook a to d8, attacking the queen just to gain a tempo. And when the queen moves away, he captures the pawn. So this is actually a piece sack. Rook takes. White cannot play this. I mean, that's not good enough because of check. And after the king moves away, bishop takes pawn. So here, this will not be to white's advantage, because black has enough compensation for the queen and an extra piece, 2 rooks and a piece for the queen. So this is not going to be good for white. So after rook takes, Tal played rook takes rook, and then black now captures the bishop, and then white captures the bishop, and then black captures the knight. So here, white is a piece down, a clear piece down for a pawn, piece for pawn. But after, and despite being a piece down, white still has an advantage because of this move, bishop b3. You can see that diagonal, it cannot be challenged. And there's a threat of queen takes f7 as well as queen takes g6. So those two threats, black cannot meet them at once. One of the best moves here is queen f8, defending the f8 square, but then that still allows queen takes g6, and then the knight on c6 is hanging. Can you see what I've just said? Take a moment to look at the position to see if you can find what I just explained, why queen f8 was not played. So naturally, black played rook b7 to try to defend the f7 square. And then after queen takes pawn check, king to f8, queen h8, the opponent, Averbach, resigned in this position. So, and rightly so, because if you went to, let's just say black plays to e7, right? There's rook d5 attacking the queen, and where does the queen go? b6 or a7. So let's say, or you sack the queen on the rook. Let's say the queen goes here. There's queen g5, check. So do you play f6? Do you play king e8? Do you go back to f8? So what does black do at this stage? There's a lot to think about. Let's say you went to f8, for example. Then queen h6 comes again, check. And if king a7, there's queen h4, right? And if you go back to e8, there's queen h8, check. And if you go here, there's queen takes bishop, regaining the piece with massive pawn advantage. I mean, this is winning for white. So there's a lot of play on that bishop c8. What else can black do here? So let's say after this check, black played f6, for example. There's queen g7, check. The king moves. There's queen g8, check. And the same thing, queen c8. So this shows the genius of Tal. It's always a pleasure watching Tal's games, and I'll be covering more of his games because he's one of my favorite chess players. So if you've enjoyed this, remember to like and subscribe on the notification so that you'll see more videos like this when they come out. Thank you.